Everyone, this is Supratik Acharya and thank you again for joining back my channel. I hope you guys like this video. I'll be going to discuss about the drawbacks, the problem areas in this Barcelona team and why Barcelona is struggling with what actually is happening now with this Barcelona side that the previous Barcelona team was able to do, which this Barcelona team is not able to work on. The previous season, if you see, Barcelona wasn't struggling this much with related to the defensive lapses and everything. They had the lowest goals conceded. We had the Ter Stegen itself himself got the recognition for the best goalkeeper. So everything happened. But this time around, what the issue that we are struggling with is we don't have a proper DM. We don't have a DM. We are playing Christensen or Gundogan or Frankie in the DM. That is never acceptable. The reason is if you're not having a DM in your team, if you're not actually having a DM, the what happens is there is no block for the other team. Like the first press is coming from the attackers, right? So we have Rafinha from the left, we have Lewandowski from the central, and we have Lamine Yamal from the right as well. But the problem area is we don't have a disruptor like Casemiro or on the ball possession maniac like Busquets or Rodri. Busquets, we often disregard Busquets because of the pure talent that we had in Barcelona team. We often disregard Busquets, but then somebody said, I can't remember the name. It was Thierry Henry who said that if you're watching Busquets, you won't see him anywhere in the pitch. But if you watch a football game, you will understand the importance of Busquets in that Barcelona side. So that is how important Busquets was in the 2009, 2010, 2011, the golden era of Barcelona, right? So that is how important Busquets was. Now, considering Busquets isn't there and considering that we don't have the powers of a defensive midfielder, we need to make sure that even if we are bringing in somebody like Kimmich or we are bringing in somebody like Zubi Mendy, we just need to make sure that we are not keeping Frankie as a single pivot, considering that Christensen won't be available the next season. We definitely need to make sure that Frankie is not being left out as a single pivot. If that happens, then Frankie won't be able to defend because Frankie is very good on the ball, but when it comes to actually disruptions, what Casemiro was very good at, right? What Rodri is a unique case. He's the best DM we have in the European football, right? So if you are actually considering Rodri, then Rodri is not possible for Barcelona, honestly speaking, because I don't think Man City will ever let him go. So that's what I just think about. We need to make sure that we have somebody like I don't know, a DM, a proper DM. It can't be a makeshift DM like we have Romeo. Romeo is very good for Girona, for a side like Girona, because they're a mediocre side. He's also a mediocre player playing for a La Liga club who is always playing against La Liga minute teams. So it is very Romeo as a player is very good for a club like Girona, but when he is playing for Barcelona, when he's playing for the best club in the history of football, who is actually playing for one of the most recognized powers of European clubs, if you're playing for Barcelona, you have to be right up there. That is the reason why probably players like Rafinha, even though he's actually doing so much for us, he's still not getting recognized because he's getting compared to Ronaldinho, somebody like Ronaldinho. He's getting compared to Messi, who used to give us 40 goals plus assists every single season. So that is how good you have to be if you're playing for Barcelona. That is how good you have to be if you're playing for the top European clubs. If you're actually playing for Barcelona, if you're playing for Real Madrid, if you're playing for Manu, if you're playing for Man City, if you're playing for so these are the big clubs, right? These are the powerhouses of European football, and if you're playing for them, you have to be of that level. Otherwise, players like Brathwaite, players who have actually come in long late, Umtiti, they have been there have been debacles. If you consider from a Barcelona point of view, they haven't been up to the mark. So if we are in desperate ahead of next season, we must make sure that we get our defensive midfield right. Defensive midfield, we have to have somebody like Kimmich or Rodri. I'm not sure whether Rodri or Kimmich would be available. They surely won't be. Kimmich, I'm still getting news that he might just leave Bayern, but if that happens, we surely need to bring in Kimmich because Rodri is out of the league. He won't be leaving Man City. I don't think he will be leaving Man City soon. Not in this or the next season, but then long term also I don't think he will be leaving. So, but we need to just make sure that we have some defensive midfielder, not like Romeo or somebody, not a makeshift. We need a proper DM. The second point that would I would like to raise is a left winger. I expect somebody like a proper left winger. I don't expect somebody like Rafinha or Felix playing through that level. Playing through that flank, I don't expect players like Felix or Rafinha to be taking our width through the left because, with all due respect, Cancelo is very good when he is in offensive mode, but when we are actually playing against top European clubs, when we are playing against Man City or some other big clubs, we just need to defend, right? If you have seen yesterday's El Clasico, he was getting 1-1 beaten by Vasquez, right? Vasquez as a fullback, he is just getting beaten by Vasquez on a 1-1. That is surely shocking to the eyes that you can't just do that. You can't just do that. The second goal that happened was Cancelo's mistake altogether. It was Kubasi who had to just extend his leg to commit a foul and get the penalty done and whatever. But then the attack actually got created by Cancelo, right? He was supposed to stop Vasquez getting into that. This similar thing happened when we were playing against PSG as well, because PSG was always trying to exploit that left flank of us. They were actually, what they were doing is they were overhauling that flank with Barcela, with Dembele. What they were trying to do is they were trying to create an overload against the likes of Cancelo, because we were having Araujo and Kunde on the other right, on the right flank. So mm, we were able to match up to the powers of Mbappe or somebody like Hakimi, right? But then when it comes to the left flank, we were actually getting beaten by Barcela and the Dembele, right? So that was a problem. So I genuinely feel that we need a proper left finger, so that somebody like Balde or somebody like Hector Fort can just be there, can just sit back, can just be there and provide stability to a side, right? So that is what I genuinely feel. These are the areas that Barcelona needs to work on ahead of the next season, so that we can get a much strengthened side and we can perform to the expectations set on us, right? So that is what I just hope you guys like the video, and I hope that you guys consider liking, share, and subscribing to the channel, because as you know, it's always Vizca El Barça. Cheers, man.